Electric blue acaras are one of the most striking and uniquely beautiful species in the freshwater hobby today. If you're looking for that ooh and ah fish that stops visitors in their tracks, this is absolutely the one. So what's the problem? Electric blue acaras also happen to be one of the most popular yet controversial fish in the hobby. Some people swear they're peaceful, perfect community fish, while others insist the exact opposite. So the question is, should you get an electric blue acara? I say, let's talk about it. Electric blue acaras might just be the most food-driven fish I've ever kept. If these fish were people at a buffet, they'd be the ones pushing, shoving, throwing chairs just to get to the head of the line to make sure they get to eat before anyone else. They are absolute pigs. Electric blue acaras are super boisterous and fairly high energy fish for their size, and these fish simply won't back down. They mean business, and while they may not start the fight, they'll definitely finish one. They do tend to be rougher on one another than they are in other species, but they're definite brawlers. In my experience, electric blue acaras tend to be slightly more aggressive than their wild type counterparts, at least outside of breeding. I feel like the wild type probably gets ignored more than it should, despite its impressive beauty. But to me, that would be almost like people ignoring the Jack Dempsey because they prefer the electric blue variety. It's a shame really, because both variants are beautiful fish. When breeding occurs in the tank, then all bets are off. They are known to take over as much of the tank as they want, 50, 60, even 80% or more. They might just chase your other fish to the opposite side of the tank. That being said, electric blue acaras are excellent parents. I've had as many fry survive when I pulled them from the tank as when I leave them in a community tank. Electric blue acaras are not monogamous species either. I had a tank where I had 3 females and 1 male in the tank, and they ended up with 3 different batches of fry at one time. There's a lot of debate on whether electric blue acaras are actually a peaceful or aggressive species. In my personal experience, they are generally peaceful and a good community fish. But housing them with aggressive species, not providing enough space and territory, or having breeding pairs in your tank is only asking for trouble. Please keep in mind that your smaller fish may start to disappear if electric blue acaras are being housed with fish that they can fit in their mouths. I've had to literally grab a fish out of the corner of a tank with my bare hand to prevent the electric blue acaras from gobbling it down. I'm not talking about little tetras here. I'm talking about a juvenile Geophagus steinodactyli they were trying to eat. I will say of the hundreds and hundreds, if not 1,000 or more fish that I'm currently keeping, whenever I come across a randomly torn up or even a dead fish, I would bet that 9 out of 10 times it either involves a bichir or an electric blue acara. Electric blue acaras are fairly personable fish, but our interactions tend to mostly involve them begging for food, not randomly coming up to the front of the tank to follow you around and see what you're doing, like you might get with, say, a Severum or a Nawaru cichlid. People often underestimate how large and thick-bodied they can get. Expect most electric blue acaras to reach at least 5, if not 6 inches in length and possibly larger, especially big males, which may max out at closer to 7 or 8 inches. In my opinion, the bare minimum tank size for a single specimen is a 40-gallon, and obviously up from there if you plan on keeping them with other cichlids. Can you house them in something slightly smaller? I realize that I'm being conservative here, but generally I wouldn't try it. If they don't have enough space, area to swim, and individual territory, they may become hyper-aggressive, super nippy, and extremely territorial. And as you can see here, they do tend to prefer the company of other electric blue acara, as opposed to just being kept as a solo fish. But honestly, if I could do it all over again, I'd probably just house a single specimen in each community cichlid tank. This is probably the best way to prevent both breeding aggression and con-specific aggression. Electric blue acaras can be somewhat brutal to one another. I've seen it, I've had it happen, and I've lost electric blue acaras in the past due to sparring with one another. It's probably best to keep an eye on tank dynamics if you keep them in a group. Electric Blue Acaras can produce hundreds and hundreds of fry. They are very easy to breed. I consider them just add water fish. If you have a male and a female in the tank, it's almost a guarantee that at some point they will become a breeding pair. But as always, every individual fish and personality is different as you and I, so there are no guarantees. They tend to produce a lot of fry, think hundreds. And the fry are fairly fast growing, often exhibiting that electric blue coloration from a very early age. So keep in mind, if you're planning on breeding them, you're gonna need a bigger tank. And my suggestion, if you wanna breed electric blue acaras, is to feed. If you wanna breed, you have to feed. And the other suggestion I have is to ensure that you have clean water and stable water parameters. With all that overfeeding, it's best to keep your water as clean as possible. We're looking at probably 50% or more water changes weekly. Overall, I absolutely love this fish. I may be a bit biased too, but honestly, I don't think I'll ever not own an electric blue acara. So should you get an electric blue acara? I say absolutely. They're one of the most stunning freshwater fish in the hobby today. If you can avoid the pitfalls like breeding aggression, tanks that are too small, lack of territories, and overcome crowding them with other cichlids, you should be well on your way to enjoying these beautiful and personable fish for years to come. They're far from demanding, relatively easy to keep, and can often make excellent take mates in a community cichlid setup. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time.